Hello, everyone, and welcome to Edge Talk Radio. My name is Angela Zabel. That's me. Today, we are going to be talking about the healing power of authentic sound with musical artist Shervin Boloorian. Hopefully I'm getting it somewhat close.
You
He
got
had
it.
awesome. He is also part of Sound Healing Bali, and he is from Bali, Indonesia. And today, we are going to be talking about how that music affects us on such a soulful level. And I can't wait to get into this interview with Shervin. So, with that, who am I? My name is Angela Zabel. I have been connected with spirit, working with the team in the non physical my entire life, sharing messages with a multitude of realms with people from all around the world. I am a teacher, coach, radio show host, medium, writer, retreat host. I also am a gallery reader, speaker, and I offer guidance, intuition, and mediumship reading along with classes and the online Amplified Universe monthly membership. This is a membership growing our connection to us, our world, our world and all we are around us and our role in it, how we can move ourselves forward. And with that, you can check out all about me at angelazabel.com and pretty much all the social media. So go ahead and check that out. And today, I'm going to try to get this in focus here. We are here with Edge Magazine. Edge Magazine is the leading events and media resource dedicated to all aspects of holistic living, health, wellness, and the mysteries beyond, sharing information, wisdom, and resources, committed in promoting businesses, organizations, and individuals who support our collective journey to wholeness and balance. It's currently distributed in 30 states plus Canada, with over 17,000 magazines per printing, and a vibrant online magazine with over 42,000 people reached per month. You can sign up to be a drop spot, have it shipped directly to your door, stay up to date with the newsletter, or also check out the Being Curious show with Kelly Wagner. You can check out more at edgemagazine.net. And today we are here with Shervin Boloorian's authentic musical presence and deep connection with his audience is a rare gift, known for inducing deep peace and leaving listeners with a lasting sense of tranquility. His performances are marked by exceptional musical breadth and profound emotional authenticity. His musical singing styles, combined with his diverse ethnic roots and broad musical abilities, allow him to create interactive, inclusive spaces that resonate with audiences of all ages and backgrounds. His delicate, heart-opening vocals stand out most prominently, elevating his material, whether original songs, authentic ancient world music, or culturally diverse healing sounds as medicine at his live events. His third studio album, I Hear You, Mother Earth, released in 2020 in response to the COVID-19, won 3 Global Peace Songs Award, and his prior album, One with the Beloved, a music for peace collection of Sufi inspired songs, was inspired by the worldwide best-selling Rumi translator and poet Coleman Barks. His most recent album, Unbroken, is produced by Grammy and Emmy winner Kipper Eldridge, Sting's Brand New Day, and explores Shervin's personal journey of love, loss, and self-acceptance as a refugee from a Muslim country. Dedicating his life to music's power to heal and change, Shervin launched Bali's first live music program at the famous Yoga Barn in Ubud in 2012. He has since served tens of thousands of guests in 14 countries worldwide. Aside from being a celebrated vocalist and award-winning musical artist, Shervin is one of the Ubud's fully trained certified sound practitioners from 2011 to 2018 from the Tamadou Academy, and he also trained for a year in urban shamanism in 2007. Sorry about that. Upon founding the Sound Healing Bali, he is recognized as an accomplished sound healing teacher, trainer, and author, as he published his first book, The Three Zones of Sound, in 2022, and has written articles and made numerous interview appearances about his groundbreaking multi-instrumental sound method. You can find out more about him at, I'm going to spell this, but I'm also going to have the links down below. It's ShervinBoloorian.com and soundhealingbali.com. You can also find him on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and along with Bandcamp and so much more. He also does private one-on-one group sessions. If you're visiting Bali, if he has a guest retreats, festival, he does yoga teaching training, has presented as holistic centers and festivals worldwide. So make sure to check out more about him. And Shervin, I am so happy to have you here because music is changing the world and you're part of it. And I've got to ask, was music always a part of your life or did it evolve over time?
Oh, thank you, Angel, and thank you for the lovely introduction and for the invitation to be part of your show today. I'm just
Abs-
delighted to be part of it, and I can just tell you that it's been bookends for me in my life in terms of music. I started out with such a passion and a desire and a hunger and
Mm.
joy for music. And unfortunately, it was not something that in my particular household was cultivated or given a chance to breathe. So I had to get involved in other types of activities,
Mm.
as you know, to pursue a professional career. But I came full circle, and music was always there in the background, supporting me, giving me everything I needed at every stage of my life to be able to move forward and make sense of things as it always does. It's always
Yeah.
there at every punctuation point, helping us make sense of the things that happen in our lives, the things, all the way from loss and grief to celebration and just pure joy. Music is always there. So I felt like I was lucky that I left my life in Washington, D.C., and I managed to find a way to get back into connection with music. And it feels like that's been my destiny now at this stage of my life to continue that, not only sharing my music, but also training others in the gift of how they can bring their music to the surface, whether they're trained musicians or not. Everybody has music inside them. Everybody has a soul melody, and that the world is really a better place when we can bring those types of sounds and vibrations and frequencies to the surface. And the world is in need of it right now. That's my view.
Absolutely. And I've got to say, I've been listening to some of your songs, your music, and it is beautiful to listen to your voice and how you put everything together, the vocals and everything just everything together really resonates. And there was one song I watched, it was called This Is Your Time that you were doing when you were practicing and your son came in. And
Oh,
music is about healing and helping and changing and generations, helping that healing of generational trauma. And how was that? How is it with you, your son, having that musical connection? Because it was beautiful on YouTube, so I encourage people go check that out. I think it was YouTube or Instagram. I'm not quite sure.
it's definitely on my Instagram.
Yes.
And I think a version of it might be on YouTube too. But I really love that you mentioned that as generational healing because, you know, there's something about music that goes so, it just kind of unites different worlds. Unfortunately, in the entertainment world, we're kind of like told that this type of music is for this category of person and so on and so forth. And I find that there are some pieces of music out there and some artists who are able to just kind of cut through that. And you know those ones that just are able to kind of speak to your soul and they get past the surface and they just kind of reach in. And there's something about what they create that's so familiar that it feels like it's part of who you are, and you immediately awaken to the like, what is this? Where is this coming from? This is transporting me to another memory or another time or another, reality. So Yeah, I have to say that my sons, I have twin sons, they're 16 years old, and they have been the most significant opening for me to be able to find my way into creating that type of music that I just described. Because they brought something out in my voice because of the degree of how much I felt so much love for them, and that in that process of loving them and soothing them and bringing them to a place where they could fall asleep every single night,
Mm.
and when I would sing to them, that kind of gave me this entirely new way of relating to my voice, which felt so much more authentic than anything else and any other way that I'd ever sung to anybody else. So that's what I try to, remind people of, especially when working with sound and the voice that can touch another human heart. It doesn't need to be something that has exceptional technique in any way, shape, or form. It has to just come from a genuine place. And if you can access the depth of love that you know in this realm and be able to express that to, through your voice, and if you feel it, if you
Yes.
can feel it deep down in your core, then there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that others will feel it too because it's so real.
I
And that's
love that.
that's vocal magnetism.
I love that vocal magnetism. I don't know if I've heard that word before. Maybe if it's something you have started or has it out there because I don't remember it.
It's definitely something that I'm trying to spread out in the world. It's the magnetic voice, I call it, vocal magnetism, where when the more you get, the closer to your authentic expression, the more your listeners will actually tune into what you're about and who you are.
I love that. Love that. And just so people know, I take notes along the way only because afterwards I always ask myself, what did I learn from the guest I had on? And I love that. So thank you so much for that.
I,
And I
I
also
thought
post
I
out
thought
there.
you were making a shopping list. That's what.
No, no, no. I try to be very coy on how I'm making notes.
No.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm making notes as what I'm learning from my guests so people know that what I'm doing. I'm not critiquing you.
No problem. No, I'm just teasing you.
I love it. I love it. And I just want to say, my team, for those of you who don't know, I work with a team in the non-physical, and they are just coming in and they want you to know, Shervin, is that as you have been singing to your boys, you have been releasing their generational trauma, your voice, your resonance. Before you did everything professionally, you were helping to hear that, to heal that generational trauma by just your voice from when they were young all the way through. And you have been doing such a beautiful job. And my team wants everyone to know there are all different ways to release generational trauma. You have found a way to do it through music. So it doesn't have to be working on all different things. It's singing from your heart and whatever, however that comes out. I love the vocal magnetism. However that comes out, it is going to be felt, and the shifts and the changes can be accomplished by singing from your heart. And I love that. I love that. And you came from a such a varied background. I mean, you were a refugee and then you were in Washington, D.C., and now you're in Bali. Like, how did you do this skip around the world? How did that
I
all
don't
happen?
know.
You do tell.
I guess I just can't sit still or something. I don't know what it is, whether I have a choice about it or not. I left my birth home when I was 3 years old, and
Wow.
was raised in the UK, and then, kind of had to really get by based on the kindness and the generosity of others. It kind of was a massively humbling experience growing up in that way and having to, really be be able to count on others' support in order to just survive. And that was how I remember growing up. And then at 16, my parents were, it had been a couple of years that they had been to the point where they were just I think, so overwhelmed and
Mm.
kind of just in their own, mired in their own depression and anxiety. And you talked about, the generational trauma. I think they might have succumbed to that at that point, but not by their choice. They were both very amazing people and just did so much for me and my siblings. But at this particular stage, I had to move out and go and live with my sister in California. And so she became my legal guardian at that stage of my life. And then from there, went to college. Um, I had to go through a detoxing period.
Mm.
I think when you grow up with so much pain around you and just, traumatic episodes, you kind
Absolutely.
of don't realize it's kind of like this blind spot that you carry. You don't realize how much you're just unable to self-regulate and self-soothe, and you kind of need help. So a lot of my life, I was looking for these ways to be able to find that equilibrium, and it just kind of made for my journey, having gone through all of that and having witnessed how others in my family had allowed these things to kind of like sweep them away emotionally. I feel like I was lucky that it kind of sent me on this quest to look at these other ways to deal with it, including holistic ways. So that's how I ended up with sound, and eventually left Washington, D.C. And I was in just a very health, um, health kind of challenged scenario there in Washington, even though my career was doing quite well. And then Bali seemed to be the place where I needed to go to kind of recover from Western civilization, in the nerve center of Western civilization. And that's where I've been now since in the past, over a decade now,
Wow.
decade and a half.
That's It's an amazing journey. I mean, you've hopped around the world, hopped around the world. I My team has a different sense of humor with them, and they're just saying you hopped around the world like a frog. When it got too much in one spot, you could hop to another. But you stepped into it so quickly and so easily. You adjusted and adapted to wherever you were. And yes, there was the adaption in there, but you were one that could adjust, get what you needed from the area and hop to another, get what you needed and then hop to another. And it's funny because you are in Bali now. Isn't there quite a few frogs in Bali?
Oh, we're saturated with frogs here, frogs and lizards and you name it. We've got all kinds of critters around here, but frogs, I always love the frog because it's meant to represent this spiritual leap. When
Yes.
you get frog medicine, you're waiting for some kind of spiritual jump to kind of advance and get yourself to the next level. So I do love the frog.
I love that because they wanted to bring up the frog for you. And as you've been leaping around, I mean, you haven't just done music your entire life. So you've worked in Washington and weren't you working more in the political arena or the political arena in Washington when you were there?
I was working in the policy arena, so I wasn't necessarily working on campaigns or helping anybody get elected, in the political sense. But I was working on trying to come up with new ways of dealing with existing problems. Particularly in my field, it was with US-Iran relations. At the time, the Iraq War was raging,
Yeah.
Afghanistan was starting to fall into disarray, and Iran was kind of like next on the list of targets. So there was a movement among many Iranian Americans to basically just go deeper into this subject and not allow the Iraq War to kind of spread into these other areas. And so I kind of got involved with that, even though my passion was music and poetry, and I still went and did my open mics. I still had my guitar. I still wrote songs, but it
Love
was
it.
really something that was just on the back burner. Um, I was there as an expert and an advisor on U.S.-Iran relations and policy, and eventually I left DC because of the, like I mentioned, the health concerns were just too much for me. I think it's what happens, Angel, when we find that we're not in a space that's aligned with what we're really about. And
Yes.
as much as I am grateful for those years for giving me the gifts of, learning how to communicate and learning how to write things and being technical in my writing and clear,
Yes.
I also feel that it was just, it's just like my time was done, and I felt like I was slipping into real, you know, uh, dis disrepair. I was out of my harmony, and I
Yeah.
couldn't find, if I'm honest, it's really something that comes back to this world of resonance. The world of what is really resonating with you can tell you so much about what you're about. And you yourself have had to come to that place. And now you assist others with finding that resonance when they can't
Yes.
find it themselves. You are assisting them to be kind of like a signpost for that. And that's also a form of frequency healing. It's a different form, but it comes in a very, very fine and refined way. And so I was very much out of alignment in so many ways, and it caused a great deal of harm. I was causing a great deal of harm to myself. So the first thing I had to do was really honor me and get myself out of a scenario that was causing me so much harm. And it was simply because the lifestyle there was against, my natural way of being. And I think a lot of people who are out there in the corporate world, in the nonprofit world, can relate to that kind of burnout. And it's really has so much to do with self-responsibility and making the decisions that are tough in terms of, maybe I'm not going to have my cushy salary. Maybe it's going to be a, a kind of a less easy ride, but it's also going to be easier in other ways, in the sense that my health can become restored. I can start to be able to see more clearly and feel more clearly about what is in line for me, what I'm about, where the world wants me to go, what to do, what my mission is, who I am. All of
Yeah.
these things came to me in those moments.
And that's so key because you yourself have been so into you came from being a refugee to having experiencing so much throughout your life to then with the job you had in Washington, experiencing that where you did make a difference. And I keep hearing from my team, you did make a difference there. You made a difference. You put your resonance, you put your stamp on the area. And then you knew you had to take your stamp, your frog somewhere else that was going to with more water. And that's amazing that they keep showing me some of the reason you went to Bali is there's so much more water. It feels so much more water going on there. And as you do your music, it resonates through that water and it reaches so many other areas. And understanding it's a tough journey when you have to make those hard decisions, which you did. You said you're leaving a job that pays well, you have everything set up, but it's just not feeling right. And you followed your heart, and that's something it's difficult to follow your heart when you're looking at the black and white of, here's job, here's money, here's this, and this is working, but I'm not feeling it and I need to leave. That's a difficult journey. And I love the fact that you kept with the music along that because I feel like the music, it almost feels like you almost went into almost like a meditative state doing some of your music at those times to help your body resonate with where you really needed to be and calm those nerves. And I've got to say, for people who haven't heard his music, you need to go on his YouTube channel. He's got, there's Bandcamp, go there, Spotify. I think it's on Spotify and all the other ones, correct? I
Yes,
could have swore I
Apple.
saw it all out there.
can find it on Amazon, iTunes, and on Spotify too.
Love it because it is so beautiful and so resonating. And you have your new album, which is all about your new songs, and it's discussing it's your journey. It's your you know, you were a refugee and coming from there and coming from the Middle East. I mean, that's just it's a huge spot that's had a lot of turmoil for thousands of years. And you came from that to experience it. And now you're helping. I just feel my team is just saying your residents and what you're doing, even if you're not physically there, because you were there, that resonance is being felt in that area. That peace is being felt in that area. They want you, well, they're coming through strong. They want you to understand the impact you are having on that area, whether those people are hearing it in the physical or not, they are hearing it on the heart level. So thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I feel so I feel so delighted that I have the gift to be able to do that and the opportunity to do that. And I can tell you that my life really began when I started to make space for listening.
Ah,
Uh,
yes.
that's just another part of the world of sound. It's being able to listen on a deeper level. And that's the muscle that can, in my view, allow access to all the other senses. And for a world that, in my particular experience, was very numb, very
Yeah.
distant, it felt so refreshing and reassuring to be able to go down that path. So I feel like I've had this really great opportunity to come back into, into a place where I'm not saying that I'm anywhere near, a pinnacle of some advanced state in any way. I'm just struggling just as much as everyone else is. But I can tell you that I have so much more peace in my life,
Yeah.
and I can serve uh, by creating more peace with my music, from what I
Yes.
hear, from what people tell me, than I ever did in Washington, D.C., working on the peace and security movements there.
I love that. You know, and it's you said it right there. We're all human. We all have struggles. We're all working it through. We're all figuring it out. And you know, I'm not special. It is I do what I can to help bring people together and to for people to meet people that they wouldn't normally meet. I mean, most people they wouldn't be there's not a lot of people that go to Bali. There is, but the percentage is smaller. But a way for people to hear you, to hear people. And honestly, when all the COVID stuff started hitting and people started using technology like this, I thought it was absolutely amazing. I was so excited because more people could reach each other and see each other on a heart level. And you were able, there was a lot of change at your during your life at that time with different musical and albums and things you've put out. Was that a time of just deep inspiration, deep listening in your time? Because you did so much during this time. It's crazy.
Thank you
What was
so
your
much.
what was your inspiration?
I think my inspiration at that time was how much the world had been given a chance to slow down, even though it was something that was causing a lot of harm in a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. Um, I just felt like something allowed those of us who had been in need of reconnecting
Yeah.
with the heart, with nature, with just, coming back inward. I think it gave an opportunity. It definitely fractured us in a lot of other ways. Don't get me wrong, but
Yes.
but I do feel that that aspect of what it means to come back to you and find and discover just how much I had been longing to have that reconnection. And then that just gave me a lot of inspiration to be able to have that opportunity. It was at around that time that I released I Hear You, Mother Earth, which was the album that did quite well with the Peace Song Awards, and it was really created and shared as a tool for people to kind of come back and to, give themselves a break from all of the chaos of what was happening at that time, all the
Yes.
uncertainty, and just kind of come back to the medicine of music for a bit, natural music, acoustic, living sound, and just to see if there was some way that it could help with getting people back to center a little bit. So that was my desire. I put it out there as an album that was, by donation. Anyone could just download it and use it at that time, whatever in whatever way they wanted. And then now it's kind of evolved because it's much more, I know you are part of this holistic community,
Mm.
and you know that a lot of artists who, particularly musicians who put their work out there, it's not always easy to kind of talk about our own healing journey through the music in terms of, the incredible vulnerability and all of the dealing with the shadows, working through the shadows to find the light, the Om Mani Padme Hum moments that we all have that require us to draw nutrients from the dirt and the darkness that sometimes, makes us feel like we're sinking, but is actually helping the flower grow and lift and
Mm.
open and become this kind of pure essence of ourselves. So I was in that place, and I thought to myself, I've really got to share these songs. And I really feel like I need to, if I'm going to invest in putting myself out there as a singer-songwriter, and kind of make a departure from the mantras and the chanting and the zikrs and the Sufi songs. I'm going to do it in a way where I'm really going to have to bring forth some of the parts of me that have had to really been hidden up to now. And that is the not, for example, being a refugee, like you mentioned. And that's a big
Yes.
part of this new album is just facing the shadows within and finding a place to bring them into reconciliation. And healing is coming whole and coming home to the self. So that's what I wanted to do with this album.
And I think it's so important for people to realize this journey we're on, this earth we're on, and for you with that first, I hear you, Mother Earth. It feels such a resonance with bringing that calm, bringing that peace in there is so important for people, especially at that time and now, because for those of you who don't know me, I am not a sugarcoater, and it is still going to get dicey for a while going forward. So be prepared for that. But to find the calm, and that's where you come in, finding the calm, finding things that bring you peace. And your music brings calm and peace. It is absolutely beautiful. And again, I encourage people, go listen to Shervin's beautiful music because it is absolutely amazing. And I encourage you to watch the one on Instagram because I think that was beautiful with you and your son. And as you've been doing this, you've been in this last album is all about you going through the emotions of being that refugee, and that comes through, it shines through in the music. You hear it and bringing peace to the world because everybody looks at things they were not everybody. They want my team is saying you need to change that because a lot of people are seeing things differently. They're not looking at things as black and white anymore. They're looking at things as everything flows together and finding that medium where everyone can find a place to agree or agree to disagree, but finding that place where it's okay. And you are helping to do that in such beautiful ways with music. How was that journey as you started doing your album? Because it just feels like a very big journey going through that as you were making this last album.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a huge journey, and it's like it's each song that I have on this album, it's not like it's all one consistent type of song. Every song is different in its personality, in its character, in the message that it wants to share. There's one that's particularly about, finding your way and reminding yourself of the incredible beauty that you are and the gifts that you harbor, and to not let your circumstances drown out those gifts. That's This is your time. That's the one dedicated to child refugees. And I just feel like, it's such an important message these days. We are getting, inundated with so much more war and bloodshed, and, the
Yes.
peacemakers have become pushed to the periphery. Everything is very much driven by something that isn't meant, to me, isn't meant to, unfortunately, is not meant to facilitate nonviolence. We're
Right.
getting to that place where even our language is becoming more and more um, combative, and it's becoming less and less possible for us to just coexist and be able to, you know, to work our problems out. And I think if anyone who's a musician, but especially anyone who's a holistic musician, you know that the listening, when you start to listen to others, when you start to be able to exercise that craft on a day-to-day basis as a way of life, that it becomes easier for us to work out our problems. And
Yes.
so I just want that particular song is there. It's the songs about, the impact of losing loved ones and what it's like, how the effects of depression and anxiety that goes with that, and the longing to have them back in your life, and what that's about. There's the kind of the dysfunction that happens when you want to try to create a relationship, and how much you have to just accept when people are different, let them go and just find your way. There's so much in there, and each song has its own beautiful character. And one of the things that's so great about the album is that I have this incredible producer who is this, master of pop songs. And he, I don't think he knew what to do with me when we first met. But he was so intrigued. He didn't have a lot of time. Everybody wants to work with this guy, but he was so intrigued. And we were only meant to do one song together, and it turned out to be five or six. So you know, we've become fast friends through this process. But it was really great to be able to have someone like him come and shape the sounds and
Yes.
create that accessibility that I would never have been able to provide. And that's also feels like it's something that's needing to happen with this work is, you know, that entertainment industry that is ripe for change.
Oh,
It has,
absolutely.
it has let us down in a lot of ways. It's great.
Yes.
I don't mind, going out there and getting involved and jumping around and enjoying and just going crazy with entertainment. But I also feel like some of us really are ready for something more deep. And it's nice to be able to bring the healing world and the modality through these lyrics and through these songs, and to be able to see that they can be also part of the spectrum of what's out there in different styles of music.
I love that. And it is shifting. And you're seeing it the shift already in even TV shows, things that used to be History Channel, used to be the Travel Channel, and a lot of that is all encompassing all the metaphysical things, exploring the pyramids and going back and forth, UFOs, all the other stuff. And now it's beautiful to see music starting to make that shift too. And I really feel you're on the forefront of that change. And it is just beautiful to see that connection because a lot of times you look at metaphysical or holistic music as kind of just the drumming or the sound and the different things. You've brought more of the modern age into it,
Yes.
bringing and bridging that gap between it because it really is beautiful and it resonates with all ages, just like when your son came in for that song. And that
No,
song is really, I think it is so powerful that this is your time
no, thank you.
because we are here. The next generation's here. The next generation's already here, and there's new generations that will be coming behind us. And it is their time.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
beautiful. And they're stepping into this it is an amazing world. It's full of chaos and craziness right now. It is there. But
It's
underneath,
but so
it,
much opportunity and so much growth and such
yeah,
an accelerated, human race, especially when we look at the youngsters and
Yes.
see where they are compared to where we were at their age. So yes,
Absolutely.
there's a lot of hope.
And that's what comes through in your songs, in your music. It is filled with hope and it's filled with love. It's filled with, and it also feels like looking at the past, seeing it, but not being so self-critical of it, of just going, this is what happened. Now, how can we take it from here?
Yes, yes, that's
And
it.
it's just beautiful to see. And you have been working, it just seems like everything you've been doing, some of it, you've been covert for a while, kind of underneath the surface.
Working below the radar.
Yeah. But now you're just blooming. You're ready to do
Thank
that next
you.
leap. And the universe is ready for it. The people are ready for it because it is absolutely amazing. That's everybody needs to listen to
Thank
it.
you so much. That's such a beautiful affirmation. And it has been such a process for me, Angel. It has been a massive education to kind of come into myself as an artist and be able to tell these stories. These are tough stories to tell. They create massive amounts of, you know, vulnerability and pain, and they simultaneously are so liberating to be able
Yeah.
to put out and share. And I've even just recorded a song that's in Persian. It's a Persian version of one of the tracks on the album, which is in English. And I just feel that there's a huge opportunity with music that is lost from most artists out there when they don't go in and share their deepest stories. And and you can do that in a way that's fun, um, and you can do that in a way that's playful, but it's really something that peels away this sense of, we're in this together.
Yes.
And the commonality there is so much more vast and so much more present than our differences. And so that's really the main thrust of this album, is really seeing the commonalities. My heart is Iranian. My ethnic background is Kurdish as an indigenous person. My cultural influences have been Western, being in the US and in the UK. And now in Asia, in Bali, and, a Hindu island in a Muslim country. So I find that this is no accident. There is something about that ability to bring all the threads together that is incumbent upon us thriving and not just surviving in this modern age. And the music is meant to be a connective tissue and an impetus, a force, a reminder that we can be so much more powerful together, so much more in our joy when we're aligned to our truth. And I just feel like I have to so much share this because it's been such a massively difficult journey for me to get there. I'm still there. I'm still on it. I'm still in it.
Yeah.
But this sharing this music is part of that process. And I just hope there are other artists, other, people who are out there who have these hybrid identities of our modern life, our modern world, that go back to our ancient roots. And we really have to embrace both if we're going to make it in this world. So I hope it inspires you to do the same and bring your personal gifts and you know, your collective healing as well as your collective hurt into the surface so that we can all see that we're all going through the exact same types of pain and the exact same opportunities for growth.
I love that because we are all, everyone has issues. There's growth with everyone. But when you start looking at the commonalities instead of the things that you feel are dividing people, you really start going and stepping into that beautiful new world. Because honestly, I know you feel it, especially for your children, you want a different world for them. You want to have them have different experiences. And I feel that's a lot of what has driven you also is seeing with your children, how can you make a difference? You've always been a difference maker. I just feel like you've always been that one that's always made that change, always made that difference, and able to step away from things when you needed to, when they didn't resonate. And that had to be such a difficult time because, you left as a refugee as a very young child, but then you're in a strange land, a strange world, and having to acclimate there, and then having to move through the differences with your parents to then move beyond that portion of your life also. I just want to say I feel you're such an inspiration to people
Thank you, Angel. Thank you.
because not everyone can move past that and not move past it, move beyond it and still follow their heart. And you kept your heart intact. And now you're sharing it with so many people out there. It's beautiful to see. You're an inspiration for those that are afraid to make that step. So I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for so many people.
Thank you so much. Wow, you just so touching in the way that you express and just can go right to the heart and the soul of somebody. I mean, I'm just really speechless. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And as you've done this journey, it is, and my team just wants you to know every step of the journey you've done. Creating that new path, that leapfrog to go, has helped so many others that are in similar situations. And this is a time, there's children around the world that are hurting. This is a time to kind of think to yourself, how can I make a difference? And sometimes it's as simple as what are your intentions and to reach your hand out to talk to people you wouldn't normally talk to make that peace offering. They keep showing the peace offering with the hand, and that's something you have done. You have put yourself out there with your songs, and this is a new world, and you're creating new music. And I just feel like those in the non-physical are just so excited for you to continue to do that. Are you working on another album?
I'm still not done with this one. Still have in August is the date that it's going to be released, and I have another single coming out between now and then.
Love
It's called One More Day, excuse me, and it's this longing for having another day with a loved one who
it.
I lost very suddenly, and someone who was so dear to me, my mother, who was so dear to me. Both my parents were very close to me, but my mom, I don't know. It's like when you're a refugee and you don't have so much of a ability to build bonds with extended family. I mean, I haven't met most of my aunts and uncles and cousins because they're still in Iran. So I feel that, when you lose someone like that, you kind of it's like a huge bomb going off in your inner world. So I wanted to write a song, and it's actually quite an uplifting sounding song. So it's a paradoxical song. But what I found with these songs that I've been doing with Kipper Eldridge and with Rick Pete, my other producer, is that it's really meant to provide a different kind of perspective about how music that you is normally polished and put out there can be received and consumed, and people can have a choice that they can consume, just what's out there right now, or this different kind of thing. It's a little more, even though I'm someone who loves ancient music, I feel that this has kind of got this fresh way of being able to tell stories with the musical formulas that you have in the entertainment world. So there's that. The next album I'm going to do, I think, is going to be probably something where I could bring a little bit more of the sound therapy world, which I'm very much a part of here in Bali and that I've kind of established here, particularly the voice and the different layers of the voice. And
Mm.
I'd be curious to see what the evolution would be having done this album, which is much more shaped and geared towards the kind of, the more pop friendly or dream pop friendly kind of approach. And then going beyond that and seeing what happens when I start to infuse and bring into the picture a lot more of the classical training that I have with sound as a sound therapist.
All I keep hearing is what a beautiful way to reach the people who never would have found any of the other sound healing, but to put yourself out there in that pop mix, but still showing your heart, not quite as polished as others because it shows your heart. And that's exactly what is needed for people to resonate with that and then being able to gently bring them into the other part as they go, oh, what else has he done? So,
That's it. That's exactly it. And that is how it works. It is an invitation. Uh,
yes.
the invitation is what makes people feel like, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see what the difference is. And I can kind of tune in and be able to discern for myself how I feel before and after. And that's, I feel once you stop forcing things and you start getting into the invitation, and then that's also part of the magnetism. It's when you let, it's like when you go into nature, it doesn't hit you straight away that all of these sounds of the birds are all around you. It doesn't hit you straight away because the sound of the water or the waves or the rustle of the wind is just kind of part of what's around you. But you just gradually, open yourself to these sounds. And before you know it, they're front and center. This is how it works, and this is what I try to create in my soundscapes when I do live events, for example, is to really emulate the experience of being in nature through the different elements of nature. And that's something that now I feel can be applied, just as you said, in this different setting, which I'm not very used to, but I'm really excited to explore more of.
You may not be used to it, but your heart is ready to go for it, and it shows. It just feels like, let's go, let's go, let's go.
That's right. That's exactly. I'm born ready. I feel like this is what I've been waiting for.
It feels so exciting for you right now. And that excitement also it emanates with and it resonates within the music you're doing. There's such an excitement behind it and excitement of sharing your journey and the I just feel the full you're wanting to bring the world together. You're wanting to create that calm and peace. And that no matter, just like when you said walking in nature, you don't hear the birds at first, all of your music has that undertone to it that
Hmm.
even if they're not listening to it, they're feeling it. Their heart's listening. So they're just saying they want you to understand there are many, many levels to the resonance of your music and your tone, your songs and bringing everything together. And when you started the yoga barn, you are at the yoga barn, you do the sound healing Bali. What inspired you to do that, and how can people find you there? I mean, what how does that encompass? What does it entail if people find you and say, "Hey, I'm in Bali. What can I do?" And do you do things whether they're in Bali or not, like maybe on phone or Zoom?
Thank you for that question. Yes, I am available, here. I do private sessions here. I offer private group sessions for people who are doing retreats or bringing groups here, or one-on-one sessions with sound and music.
Love it.
And I also have a great uh, kind of network of students throughout the world. So I travel, I go visit, I do events in different parts of the world. I haven't been to Minnesota yet,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I have been to Ohio. I've played
Oh,
there. I have a student there who does great work. So I have this really lovely network, and it's my aim to kind of create this wave of getting people back into therapeutic sound and music because it was and is the original purpose of these kinds of sounds. And I feel like we're still building momentum. I'm preparing to offer an online course for people if they want to do
oh,
this and start to get more into it that way. I've written a book on this subject called The Three Zones of Sound, which is my own multi-instrumental sound journey system that I started back in 2018. I was very fortunate when I did my own training and I certified as a sound therapist to have trained with one of the pioneers and the leading names of the sound therapy world. His name is Fabien Mamon, and he's the guy who studied blood cells under the microscope and how they respond to sound. So it's just,
oh, I love that.
I've been really fortunate. And I'm just really excited, community types of activities. I have a song circle in my home every so often where people can just come connect with my students, connect with me. We just have an evening of singing, people bring food, and it's just a great way to build community and to connect. So this is the aim. This is the goal. Music is the modality, and it's the bridge. The voice is the bridge between the head and the heart. We've got a lot of bridge building to do in this world. So if you're into that, if you're up for it, if you want to explore how your voice can kind of be a point of self-soothing, creating harmony, releasing tension, connecting on a deeper level to yourself and to your friends and to your loved ones, then please look me up and ask me the questions, and I'll be happy to help you.
I love that. And hopefully, I know Edge Magazine does different expos around, I think they're doing Minnesota. I know they're starting to branch out to other areas now. So I'll have to see if maybe you'll be interested in coming there sometime.
Absolutely. Any people want to invite me, I'd be delighted to go. And I'm with this album now. I'm going to be very eager to do some touring, doing festivals, doing events, starting to play at auditoriums and other types of venues. So hopefully this will be the momentum that's needed, and we can all kind of get this very highly honorable field of sound and music back to its rightful place, which is, alongside any other profession, any other holistic practice, as something that is a very, very important part of the picture. Sound, music, the ears, the senses, feeling, tuning in, all of this happens through music. All of this, you don't have to understand the language. You don't have to understand anything about what it is you're listening to. You just go with what the feeling is and what it creates for you, and how that is such a common thing that can unite any ethnicity, age, sex, anything. We all can find our way back together through music.
I love that. And that is so true. I mean, music, like you said, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, or what age you are. And sex, nationality doesn't matter. Music, it's feeling the music and feeling that vibration, that resonance. That is so huge and so healing. And I just keep seeing the music you've been doing and the combination of the words you're receiving, creating these songs too, is absolutely beautiful to for people to hear and for them to take that journey with you, and especially with your mom with the one more day. because it's difficult when you lose someone and it's you never think a day will make a difference, but when you lose someone, having that one more day to say the things you wanted to say, to spend the time and to share the heartfelt conversation and just the physical hugs is something that's so important.
Gosh, it's so like the smell, the subtle smell, the sensing of the skin and the hair and the just being able to be in that presence with them. Something you never quite prepared to lose. And I wanted to try to work. I would try to work with some refugee groups for this last song, This Is Your Time. And in the process now of trying to work with suicide prevention groups, with, people who are living with loss,
Yeah.
to see that there's, it's hard to let go of loved ones.
Yes.
We're not always ready, and we have to put on a brave face. And what happens is life keeps going, but we're kind of stuck in this feeling of what do I do now without this person? And so I really hope that I can find other allies and people who are willing to, share this same message that people don't have to feel like they're isolated and go into a sinking of depression when these things happen. Um, it's so important, particularly as suicide rates are going up and survivors of suicide and having to deal with that. It's very difficult. People are lost through freak accidents, through violence, and there's not a whole lot about it that we are able to work through and discuss and dialogue about, but it's really essential.
And what you just touched on something with a lot of people, it's hard for them to talk. It's hard for them to have that dialogue. Music is there that helps them because there's so many times, think of the times when there's times I've had and I know others where you listen to the same song again and again and again because you're hearing it, you're feeling it, and you're getting a little more from it each time. It also brings hope and optimism and bringing life back, and that's something they're just saying for you to understand. It's helping those bring that, like getting their life back, bringing like shining. They're just showing the more they listen to your song, you're bringing light from the universe in. I call it divine light, whatever people want to call it. I don't care. Um, it's bringing that light in and you're bringing it in, letting it flow through you and going to others, and others feel it. And they just want you to know when people are having such a hard time, they are listening to your music and it is
Oh,
bringing that light into them also. So they are starting to bring themselves back out.
oh, that's so good to hear. Thank you, Angel. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can see I can see that when you're channeling these messages that you're really moved and it's really real. It's really you're feeling it in all your cells. So I'm really grateful that you're here to be able to convey these messages to me and to support all those people out there who need to hear these messages that you're conveying. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And I am honored to bring them through for people to hear because um they bring their emotion through me because they are so excited to see people who are reaching with their heart and allowing this energy, whatever you want to call it, I call it divine, to let that funnel and other people feel that. They're saying for people to take the pressure off of, I need to reach these people, instead to go, I know I'm reaching these people and I
Oh,
know they are receiving it. And when you're going with that, your heart is also flowing to them.
yeah, that's more magnetic.
Yes. Yes.
That,
Because you are reaching them, and others around the world are reaching these people. And there is going to be a shift, and that shift is occurring. And it's because of people like you who are willing to say, this isn't the norm. This isn't how it normally is done, but I'm going to do it differently. Because honestly, a lot of things that we've had in our world haven't worked so well. And it's time to do it differently. And other things worked in the older energy, but we're in a new energy. and it
Yeah.
needs new ways of doing it, new ways of presenting yourself. And you have been just following your heart and following all your intuitive abilities and doing it. And I can't thank you enough because I feel I know the people you've been affecting, the
Oh,
difference you've already made. So
oh,
know that.
thank you, dear. Thank you. Oh,
Absolutely.
that was an important message to hear, and to really, to really trust that it's reaching the ears that it needs to reach already. So thank you for
Because you have been through so much throughout your life and you have created a path for others to follow. They're just showing, so they show me pictures in my head and they're showing me a war-torn area and the people laying down their weapons and walking away and saying there's a new way to do it.
wow.
So it is happening. It is there. It will be happening on a larger scale as we move forward. And we just have to know it. We have to feel it. And you are helping people feel that possibility, especially I love that song, This Is Your Time. This is everyone's time. This is
Yes,
it.
thank you.
This is
Exactly what the message was.
it.
Exactly what it's meant to be.
And it's also, I keep hearing, this is your time is timeless. So don't worry about age. So many people are like, oh, if I'm this age, I can't change anything. No, it is timeless.
Absolutely. It took me quite a bit of my life to be able to come to this point of being able to share music in this way. First of all, I had to get to the point where I, you know, could break out of old my old career, and
Yeah.
that in itself was huge. But now I feel like this particular style of music that I'm sharing in this particular time of my life is so satisfying
Yeah.
because it has so much to do with that journey, and that it's the journey that has taken this long for me to get there that has allowed it to be so satisfying. So, it doesn't matter where you're at in terms of your age, your range of age, what it is that you want to do. Just put yourself out there. The doors will open. The universe will be on your side.
Absolutely. And I've got to say, with your mom, I just feel such a beautiful soul with her. And she wants you to know she will be with you every step of the journey. And I just feel such love coming from her, wanting your success, wanting everything for you. And it feels like when you were writing your song, she's also showing herself sitting next to you as you were writing it. And she just wants you to know it was such a lovely experience to be there with you as you were writing that song with her because I feel her right next to you doing it. And just know, even though they're not here in the physical, they're here energetically. They're here with us. They never leave. And for one thing, she is such a powerful advocate for you. And she believes so deeply in what you're doing and is so proud of what you're doing and just wants you to please know. She's saying, please know I am always there with you on the next step of the journey and on the next songs you create. I am there with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell her thank
You,
you. I want her to know that she
you
is
tell her.
so much appreciated for all of the healing that I'm able to experience because of her, because of all of what she's sacrificed. And it's been amazing to carry it forward and to feel like, you know, to feel like that this is really something that's going to benefit my kids, her grandkids, and hopefully beyond that too. And maybe even some some other people who are going to be receiving it, maybe the collective, the Iranian community, the diaspora community, anyone who can really relate to ever being the outsider. I think
Yes.
that's all, really, isn't it?
Yes.
especially from our crew of the black sheep.
Yes. And a lot of people that are doing a lot of this have been the black sheep because it's not the norm. Wasn't my team is correcting me. It wasn't the norm, but it is now.
Is now. So thank you, Mama, for being able to show me how beautiful it is to be part of the black sheep community and family. And I love you.
She is so enamored. I just feel she's just saying she wants you to know. She's saying, I love what you are doing for our people because everything you are doing, our people feel. And she will also be working with the people now that she has passed. Also, she wants you to know our people are changing because of you and I working together. And she's just saying, I love you so. I love you so.
So beautiful. Thank you. I love
She
you
is
too.
amazing. Just a beautiful soul, beautiful heart.
Thank you. Thank you for these messages. Thank you. You have
You
no
are
idea
so,
how important it is. Thank you.
you are so welcome. And she just wants to remind you everything you're doing from here forward, she is with you, listening and encouraging, and also helping with, she wants to help with other ideas as now she is very connected with the other side and the other side as we look at it. And she's saying, tap into me as I will help you bridge those gaps too.
Can't wait.
Yes, it's so exciting, so
Excited.
exciting.
I'm so excited.
I love it. And I know it is late where you are, that I know.
It's getting
And
pretty late, but we've had a great conversation. It seems like we've gone over the amount that perhaps is what we expected, but I really enjoyed this conversation.
oh, I did too. This is absolutely amazing. I was so excited because I knew there's so much healing, there's so much love, there's so much that is coming through in the musical realm going forward, and you are on the forefront of that realm. And for people like go out, check out the music you already have, and I can't wait to hear the next albums because I know it's going to be amazing. And all the little tidbits you do along the way, I love it, love it, love it. You are on the forefront. You're making such a difference in the world, and I appreciate you so much for everything you are doing.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you and to receive these messages from you and to just be, be in this place of just having fun and talking and sharing. And I'm just delighted. I hope I can come back as well someday in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely love to because you have so much to offer. You have so much to offer the people, the world, and like you said, the collective. They also gain from it. They want you to know that this is shared and it helps the resonance in the collective continue to rise and expand too. So know everything you are doing is making an impact there too. It is not just this world, but many worlds beyond and many they also want you to know many worlds beyond this realm.
Oh, wow. Great.
So,
I
some,
look forward to exploring all of them when I get the
yeah,
chance. So thank you for letting me know about that.
absolutely. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close today?
Just, I hope that everybody is able to remember and remind themselves to let your voice come through, to not swallow your anger, your pain, to find a way to, in a healthy way, express and to, to be as loving as you can in those moments when it's hard to do that, to remind yourself and to be forgiving of yourself, to remind yourself of your own beauty and your own, um, gifts, your talents. You have them. Everybody's unique. Everybody's here. And we are one tribe, and we're going to be able to make it through together.
I love it. I love it. And I do have one more question for my team
Sure.
because they're coming in and they're saying, what do you say to people who don't feel they have a good voice and maybe they don't have confidence in themselves and they don't trust themselves as a good singing voice? What do you say about singing when people don't feel they have a good singing voice?
That's usually based on a criticism that comes from something or someone external that has been repeated over and over again. And just like a mantra that is repeated over and over again in the ancient Sanskrit or other ancient traditions, it starts to work its way into the consciousness. And so it's just a matter of recognizing that that voice is there, that critical voice is there, and just kind of being as basically being kind to yourself as much as you can, while
Yes.
also reminding yourself that these voices have come from an external place. You know, when we're kids, Angel, when we sing, nobody ever says, "Oh, you know, someone's a bit flat. You know, this doesn't sound nice." It's only because there's a certain particular high standard of, you know, classical technical mastery
Yes.
is only ever accepted as the way to be able to sing these days. And that's a fallacy. I can tell you now, even the most technical, advanced singers out there have so much insecurity, so much of a sense of, you know, self-doubt when it comes to their voices. It's just something that happens because it's so much pressure that we put on ourselves. When
Yes.
you remove the pressure, when you start to get into a place where you have a different relationship with your voice, one that is based on seeing it as a therapeutic tool, as a connective tissue to your whole cellular makeup, then you have a totally new opportunity to build your friendship with your voice. Your voice is such a massive part. There's nobody else in this world that has the same voice as you. It's a massive
Mm.
part of your identity. It is your way of being able to, you know, get your cells to come into expansion and vitality. No other instrument is going to do that better than your voice. So I would just
I l-
encourage you to go easy on yourself, to remind yourself that these are voices that have been expressed to you by others who have been hurt themselves by others, and so on and so forth. And you don't have to perpetuate that cycle. Just have some trust and hopefully find a teacher who has an idea of energy and who can help you move that energy and unblock your voice.
I love it. Love it. And it's beautiful because we all have voices that are unique with different resonances, and they're all meant to be heard. There are no voices that are meant to be silenced. There are only voices meant to be heard. And thank you so much for that, Zib. They just felt there's so many people that are concerned about not singing, not humming, not putting their voice out there because of concerns about how they will be looked at and that it's not good enough. And thank you so much for helping them move through that. Thank you, Shervin.
Thank you, Angel. It's so good to talk to you.
Oh,
Many, many greetings to you and your team and your whole family. Wish you the very best.
oh, thank you so much. Shervin, it has been an absolute pleasure and such a blessing to be here. And I so appreciate your energy, who you are, what you're offering others. And I want to encourage others, make sure to go to his website. And it is Shervin Boloorian. Boloorian.
Oh, you're close enough.
Close enough. But you can also find him on Sound Healing Bali is also out there, and also Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp. There's so many other areas. Go on his website, check out more. And again, the link will be down below, so don't worry about spelling. It'll be down below for everyone. And Shervin, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your heart, sharing your knowledge, sharing your time. I know it's really late there. Thank you so much for who you are. I appreciate it so much. And for all of you out there, I just want to remind everyone, make sure to check out the next episodes of Edge Talk Radio. They are on the first and third Wednesdays of the month at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you've missed any past episodes, no worries. You can check it out on either my YouTube channel, Edge Magazine's YouTube channel. You can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. There's all the downloadable podcast areas, or else go to my website or Edge Magazine's website will be direct links to all of these too. And I just want to thank all of you. Thank you all for listening, sharing, expanding, and amplifying our universe together. Have an absolutely amazing day.